Wolfie here. So today I have a Division 2 build video for you. Something quite unique. Definitely a build that's pretty anti-meta. I've been face tanking a lot of meta Lady Death builds and absolutely wrecking house. I gotta say that this build is also an anti-glass build, so if you're tired of fighting all red builds and getting murked in PvP and or Dark Zone, this might be the build for you. The only thing is, it does have a high skill gap, so as long as you're good with pistols and as long as you're good with trying to hit your heads, you're gonna excel in this build. Probably called a cheater, and you might have some people unloading your corpse a few times. But if this build sounds like the build for you and you want to have some fun, let's check it out. Alright, so immediately for our mask, we're going to be running a punch drunk. I've got armor, headshot damage, crit damage, and a headshot damage mod. For my chest piece, I have a Prov defense chest piece for the extra crit chance. I've got weapon damage, crit damage, headshot damage, and a crit chance mod with Unbreakable. For my holster, I've got a Prov defense holster with armor, headshot damage, crit damage. My backpack, I have a Seska Vigilance backpack with weapon damage, headshot damage, crit damage, and crit chance. For my gloves, I have Empress International with the skill health, a skill tier, crit chance, and headshot damage. And for my knee pads, I have a group of Sombra with skill tier, crit damage, and crit chance. For my weapon, I am using the Liberty double god roll. And for my skills, I'm running a Bulwark Shield with 12.7 health, and an Artificer with 20 charges and a refill speed of 4.1 seconds. Now, the refill speed doesn't matter because most of the time when you're actually in combat, all you want to do is keep the Artificer on your back. And if, in case you don't know, as long as you have your Bulwark Shield out, the Artificer charge will come from your back and automatically heal your shield. Usually, I've been running the Achilles Pulse instead as backup. I'll actually show you some damage numbers later on why I'm running the Empress for this. But let's look at my stat sheet really quick, guys. So right now on my Liberty, I'm at 59 crit chance, 116.6 crit damage, and 190 headshot damage. My crit chance is absolutely max, so if you run the exact pieces that I'm running with everything the same, you're going to be at 59 crit chance. This is the max my version can pull off. Once I have everything maxed out, I'll be exactly 120 crit damage, and I'm also missing the 20 headshot damage you can get on your watch. So all in all, if I can have everything maxed, I'll be at 59 crit chance, 120 crit damage, and 210 headshot damage. Now I'm at 1.1 mil armor with the Unbreakable, what gets me to around 1.6, 1.7, and I have about 12.7 on my shield. One thing I've been kind of trying to do, I've been comfortable at the moment, but I want to try to get it with an extra blue. If I did have another blue on this build, I'd be at 1.3 with about 2 mil armor with Unbreakable, and my shield would actually go up to 14.7 health. Now, I feel like that's a little better if you're trying to be more tanky and still do a ton of damage. But right now, I've been in a very comfortable zone doing the 2 blues, 2 reds, and 2 yellows. Now for my specialization, I'm running this for the extra skill tier and the Artificer Hive. Now, originally I had this set up for the, let me get the Achilles pulse. I had this originally set up for the Achilles pulse. Um, I started making this build to use and utilize the Achilles pulse, so that's why I have the 3 skill tiers, because at 3 skill tiers you get an extra zone. I realized that when you have 2 zones, at least for me, as long as I have 2 zones on my Achilles pulse, it seems like it wants to do a lot of heads. But I don't know. If I have a few buddies that have the Achilles pulse, they said that they have like a skill tier 4 Achilles pulse, and even in PvP it doesn't seem to want to land on the heads. So I don't know, man. This Achilles pulse is good. It's absolutely great when it wants to work, but in PvP, specifically conflict, it seems like it doesn't want to lock on a player sometimes. But when it does work, man, is this thing absolutely broken. I don't have to say it's too OP, just because sometimes you might get some marks where it marks like their arms or their chest or even their legs, and if they whip out a shield, you're probably going to miss out on your chance to get that zone. So I gotta say it's pretty balanced. Let's just hope that they end up fixing the pulse itself so it actually reads every single person in front of you and you can freely mark anyone with some ease. So let's go ahead and hop into the firing range. You guys can actually see these numbers. We'll put it on the named. So just flat base damage, I'm getting about 1.3. That's no stacks. And of course you can get your 30 stacks up and just keep wrapping this guy up. So let's get rid of my headshot stacks. So flat headshot stacks, about 2.4. Now with the Achilles pulse, 7.2. Now if you're also curious, I can get my max stacks on my Liberty real quick, and you can see what the shots look like with an Achilles pulse on your max stacks. Now this build is definitely an all-red anti-meta build. I've been absolutely sniping glass cannons with this thing. I've 1v2'd, 1v3'd multiple players. There we go, 9.4 with max stacks Achilles. Now trust me, if you guys are a good shot and you end up putting this build together, you're going to love the feeling of when you snipe someone with a Liberty and it's like another glass build. You just get like that 1 point something crit on them in PvP. Now with your Achilles pulse, against 2 mil armor builds, you are going to 1-tap. I notice without your stacks in PvP, usually in conflict, I'm hitting about, on a headshot, it jumps anywhere between 800k to 1.1 mil crits to the head. Now to the body, it's usually, it jumps back and forth between 400 to 800k crits. I think it just depends on like their build and just kind of what's going on in the moment. But you're gonna get a lot of 1 to 3 taps with this build. Now this build is high skill, so you definitely are gonna have to be used to aiming. And if you don't use the Liberty that much and you find it incredibly hard to use, just keep practicing, man. You'll get it down. I used to be straight garbage with it, but in those clips you saw that I was pretty good at doing some flick shots. I've been getting better over time, and I'm still practicing. But it's a fun build, man. I mean, I used to use glass cannon all the time. I used to use all red builds, meta builds, and let's be honest, there's only so much time that you can spend on like a Lady Death meta build before you get absolutely bored. And I honestly can't back players who constantly use meta builds and say that they're good. I don't agree with it. I mean, I feel like part of being a good player in Division is being able to make outside the box builds, understanding the game mechanics as a whole, being able to make different style builds and work those certain builds. If you're someone that just uses a YouTube build or uses the same build like everyone else and you get kills with it, I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss, man. I mean, but to each their own. You know, we're all trying to play this game, all trying to have fun, all trying to make interesting builds. But definitely, if you're someone that you're constantly using like a Lady Death meta build, try going outside the box. Try something that you don't try. Try using this build. I mean, like I said, I used to be an all-red glass cannon, and this is probably one of the second funnest builds next to my skill DPS hybrid that I've actually made that I've had a lot of fun with. And it really breaks up the mundaneness of the same exact, be aggressive, rush with their Lady Death playstyle. You get to play really defensive and aggressive with this. If you're really good at slinging your heads, you can just run into a group of guys and start one-tapping into them people. I've gotten my corpse unloaded into constantly in conflict because people are just so pissed that I'm getting 1 and 2 taps on them. And they think I'm a cheater, so I mean, it's good. It's a nice feeling when you know that you've created a build where people think you're an absolute cheater with it. Now, one thing I did leave out was the Empress International. Now, I am running this for the skill health just because I'm so low and I want to be able to have my shield decently tanky. And also, the extra health from the Empress increases the zone health of the Achilles Pulse. Now, the higher the zone health on the Achilles Pulse, the harder you'll hit when you hit that zone. So if I actually ended up having less skill tiers, or I didn't have this zone health mod, or I didn't run Empress, that means my zone health would be lower. So when I hit that shot, I'm going to hit a lot less. But if you guys end up putting this build together, or you figure out a way to make this build hit harder, let me know down in the comments below. I definitely want to know what you guys think of this build, and if you can make a better version, I'll be excited. So yeah, I mean, let's make this as a community. Let's make this build better. All right, guys. Let's work on it and see what we can do with it. Let's see if we can make this pistol build meta. All right, guys. Anyways, this is Wander Wolfie signing off. Y'all have a good one.